With the members that are present, please say their names.
Tiffany Garriga,
Present.
Becca Wolf,
Present.
Heather Campbell, not present. John Cody,
Present.
Mayor Johnson,
Present.
Richard Wallace.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before us, we have the minutes for, Lisa, can you please say the date?
It's March 10th.
Thank you. March 10th, may I have if everyone has went over the minutes and agree with the minutes that were sent to us, may I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes, please?
I'll make a motion, Rebecca.
Do we have a second?
Oh, second. Come on.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No one opposed?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I abstain because I wasn't at the meeting. John Cody.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Moving forward, please.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have a presentation for the agency this afternoon. We're pleased to have David Kessler from 620 Union Street LLC and his counsel, Joseph Scott with Hudson Russ, joining us today. As you know, we've met with Mr. Kessler with respect to the 620 Union Street project on 2 occasions at this point. And he was gracious enough to send us in advance a summary of the project along with some PowerPoint slides. And he would, we asked him if he would make a brief presentation to us to reintroduce us to the project, recognizing that we had a brief introduction to it early on, but then with all that's gone on, we have been all on other business. And then we'd like to be able to discuss the process with respect to the agency's desire in connection with moving forward with a inducement resolution and negotiations of a pilot and hopefully the closing on a project. Those are all steps ahead of us, but we thought if we could get this presentation done today, get questions, get some idea from the agency members as to what the timeline and process would be, that if necessary, we could have a second meeting before our June meeting to move this project through a process to see if the agency's desire to approve it. So if you have any questions, Madam Chair, otherwise I would ask you to ask Mr. Kessler to begin his presentation.
Does the board have any questions?
No.
No.
Okay.
Welcome,
Okay,
David.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you all for your time. I hope you and your families are all safe and healthy. I just wanted to take a moment to reintroduce the project. We're incredibly excited about it, and we're moving full steam ahead. We want to just outline, a bit about the project. I sent along a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if you want me to go through all of this or just hit the high points, Mike.
Well, perhaps
and Madam Chair.
Maybe hit the high points of your cover letter, and then I think everyone has the PowerPoint, and if they
did everyone receive that email?
Yes.
you want to just highlight the slides.
Sure, absolutely. As I mentioned, we're committed to doing this project and bringing 30 new jobs to Hudson and hiring 14 of them locally. In terms of, I'll just dive into the PowerPoint. So the project it's ultimately the building that sits there now, it's a 620 Union. It's a 15,000 square foot vacant building, and we're going to renovate that existing building and increase the size of it, expanding it to about 31,000 square feet. It'll still be boutique in nature, roughly 50 rooms, and a small restaurant and a small bar. We believe the market is thriving yet underserved. There's approximately 200,000 tourists per year and only 204 rooms in hotels, motels, inns, and bed and breakfasts. The Hudson Amtrak train station is the fourth busiest station in the state of New York. And the Columbia County is the fastest growing tourism market in the Hudson Valley, averaging 9% growth. The location is 2 hours from New York, Hartford, and Boston, and only 40 minutes from Albany. And they're successful by car, which in this day and this day and age with Corona, we believe being a drive-to destination is key to success in the hospitality industry. The property is in the heart of downtown at the corner of 7th and Union. I'd like to speak a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Atlanta. I've lived in New York since 2002, and I relocated permanently to Hudson a month ago. I have 19 years of industry experience with extensive experience in development and hospitality and asset management. I've assembled a phenomenal team of local consultants. My architect is based in Troy. One of my engineers is based in Chatham, and the other one in Albany. And I intend to hire a local construction manager. All of these consultants have proven track record in adaptive reuse hospitality projects in this market. And when I say in this market, I mean in the Hudson River Valley. I am talking to experienced local food and beverage consultants that will help, execute the food and beverage program. It's really going to be a local project in every way. In terms of our business plan, we're going to execute a locally rooted concept that is contextual to the building's history and market without being contrived. By catering to customers that desire more human connection and experience rather than just a hotel room, we'll embrace the thriving art community and culinary scene to deliver a boutique hotel that will stand out from its competitors. When brought to life, this asset will fully align with what customers want and need while complementing the charm that makes Hudson so sought after. Through local engagement, including hiring a local food and beverage consultant, will deliver a unique hospitality and culinary experience that's not currently available in Hudson. Also, I'd like to point out that we really want to be affordable and accessible. We're not catering to just the New York City crowd. We want our customer base to be, local as well. And we're going to create that menu, that an atmosphere that will attract the local customers. In terms of hotel programming, the slide number 9, I outlined some things that we have in mind. This isn't set in stone, but we intend to cater to our guests that seeking a local experience, and will offer a variety of programming to highlight all that the Hudson River Valley has to offer. By partnering with local businesses to provide yoga and meditation, massage, architecture and historic walking tours, farm visits, cooking classes, museum and gallery tours, apple picking and hay rides, ski trips and fly fishing and golf packages. We'll also create a hassle-free experience for the discerning city dwellers with other potential services such as a shuttle to the Amtrak station, free bike rental, free continental breakfast, and we intend to be pet friendly as well. And then I outline my background. Again, I have about 19 years of experience in the industry. Most recently, I served as president of Blesso Properties, where I grew the company from doing smaller projects, roughly 10, 15,000 square foot residential condo conversion projects in Manhattan, to doing larger 200,000 plus square foot ground up mixed use projects in Brooklyn. And while I was at Blesso, I managed a team of over 10 professionals and oversaw the redevelopment and operations of 2 mixed use hospitality projects in Panama. Prior to Blesso, I was the director of acquisitions at Waterbridge Capital, where I did over $1 billion worth of deals during my tenure there. And one notable project is I assembled an entire city block in North Williamsburg and oversaw the redevelopment of the site. And it's now home to the first Apple store in Brooklyn and the first Pod Hotel in Brooklyn. Prior to Waterbridge, I was the assistant director of acquisitions for the real estate family office of the Safra family, where I sourced and underwrote all new acquisitions and oversaw asset management of the existing portfolio. Prior to working for the Safra family, I was an associate in the equity private placement group at Capmark, where I raised third-party institutional equity and debt for clients of the firm. And I also worked in appraisal at, I was an in-house appraiser at Credit Suisse. And I started my career in the real estate advisory services practice at Ernst & Young. I obtained my bachelor's of business administration degree from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, double majoring in real estate and marketing with a specialization in international business. And again, I'm from Atlanta. I've lived in New York since 2002, but recently relocated permanently to Hudson about a month ago. And then I outlined some of the prior deals that I worked on while at Waterbridge and Blesso, which I don't think I need to go into in great detail, but if there's questions about it, that's on slides 12 and 13. And then I also provide current photos of the building as well as our current renderings. And again, after studying the market extensively, we created this business plan to redevelop this historic gem into an independent boutique hotel with 50 rooms. and a restaurant and bar and other hotel amenities that will be large enough to be economically viable, but small enough to fit into Hudson's ethos of small is beautiful. We want the property to be locally rooted and art and history focused, and engage local artists and historians to help curate experiences for our guests. And we also want to have excellent food and drinks at an accessible price point that will cater to tourists and locals alike. I was attracted to Hudson in this project because I value the same things I suspect all of you do. I want to focus my efforts on historic preservation, and it was critical for me to, find a project that does that and respects the historic facade and restores and preserves the garden, and so that when I set out to work on this project, that was my goal.
Thank you.
And I look forward to, as I mentioned, I just moved here, and I look forward to contributing to the community in any and every way that I can.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the board?
I do.
State your name.
I'm sorry, Rebecca Wolf. I guess I'm curious to hear a little bit about what your financial plans will be if you do not receive a pilot from the city.
I don't know if I could answer that, Rebecca, because this deal only works with the pilot, and it only works as a hotel, and so I can't really answer that.
So you don't have a backup financial strategy for how to fund the project without the pilot?
Not at this time.
It looks like, I think your letter says that you're under contract for the property.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I would be really curious to hear, what Plan B is, just because for me that would indicate a level of commitment to the city and the project, given that you've relocated here permanently, and so one of the things that I'm sure you realize about the city is that we are extremely strapped for cash, including a tax base. And so, I guess one of the ways I'm looking at this project is its emphasis on the local that you've made very clear. One of the best ways to truly support the community and the city would actually be to contribute to the tax base.
Well, it's also by creating jobs for the local economy and by creating a property that will also help drive the other businesses in town, which I'm doing both of. And I'm contributing to the tax base. Even through the pilot, we're still paying taxes.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I was just curious to hear what you have in mind about that.
Madam Chair, this is Mike Tucker, may I?
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
One of the things that we did at CEDC in an effort to enable the board to make be able to accurately and appropriately review any request for benefits for the project from the developer, is we've commissioned a appraisal from Concra Appraisals in Hudson. It should be completed in approximately a week or two. And I think that, it's hard to talk about a pilot with respect to a project like this, without having a sense of what would the city be receiving if there were no pilot, what would the city be receiving if there were no project, and where in the middle is the city IDA willing to provide for a pilot consistent with its existing uniform pilot policy, which is based on 485B of the real property tax law, which this project would be potentially eligible for as well. So I think that these questions are good. I think they're important to get a framework to discuss a pilot. But once we have something that will enable us to, show the agency members what there would be in taxes if there were no pilot, what there would be with a pilot, and then what there would be without a pilot, and then balance that with the payroll over the life of the pilot and the sales tax estimate over the life of the pilot. I think you need to look at it in a comprehensive way. So, I think these are great questions, and I'm hoping that we'll have that value soon so that the developer can make a formal proposal and you can get a true sense of what we're talking about, because it's hard in the abstract without real numbers to figure out what they're asking and what you're willing to do.
Are there any other questions from the board?
I mean,
Yes.
I'd like
John Cody.
Yes, Cole.
My question revolves around the fact that given the current situation with COVID-19 and the forecast that travel will be a lot less, that, some of those economics might be a little, probably to say frightening for a lot of people. It just leads me to kind of back away from it a little bit to find out more. And as Rebecca said, with the city situation, it is a hit on the tax base of the city to an extent, as will other future projects be. But my concern is really about the travel forecasts and the ability to fill rooms.
right. Well,
Have you given that any consideration with the under the circumstances?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, Tiffany.
With the board, with what the board member John Cody just mentioned to you, did you all give that any consideration, being that what we're dealing with under the circumstances, the crisis?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. The travel will be impacted, which makes the importance of the pilot even that much more significant. However, I am still all in on this project. I strongly believe in it. And the bottom line is we're not going to be open for a year and a half. So by that time, we think there will be a vaccine. But even if there, isn't, we think that people will still go on vacation, but they may be less inclined to get on an airplane and breathe the same air with several hundred people, and so being a drive-to destination, being within 2 hours of Boston, Hartford, Albany, and New York City, we believe that we will fare, better than other hotels in other markets. Furthermore, it were only 50 rooms. This isn't like, you know, a 500 room property in Las Vegas, for example, that I think those types of hospitality properties will take a very, very long time to come back, if they come back at all. Contribute. I'd like to say, you know, I'm asking for help from the city to preserve the character of the city and bring it, you know, a building that needs to be brought back to life. And I need your help in making this investment, essentially.
Thank you. Is there any more questions from the board, please?
I guess this is a question that is more, Rebecca, sorry, more about the pragmatics of the development of the project. It looks like you're doubling the size of the build itself. And I just wanted to, so that doesn't, your planned doubling of it doesn't affect the size of the original structure, right? It's an addition?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that was still the same as what we saw.
Yes. We're gut renovating the existing building, which is already taken down to the studs and is in dire need of redevelopment.
So, I mean, I'm really just speaking for myself as a citizen, et cetera. Right now, my citizen and board member and alderwoman, I mean, my understanding of development finances is limited to what I'm learning currently. And basically, I find it hard to understand how the amount of profit essentially that can be made on the project does not make it possible to go forward with the project without a pilot. It's just a, yeah, I just want to say that.
It's simply math. You know what the purchase price is, coupled with the construction costs and the cost to operate, and what we anticipate our average daily rate and occupancy to be. Without, you know, a pilot, the returns just simply don't make this such that it's not economically viable.
Mm-hmm. Fine.
This is John Cody again, if I can horn in here. I'm still gotta go back to the parking that will keep people away. You know, you're going to have 35 employees. You're going to have, if you have 50 rooms, you're going to have between 50 and however many other people stay at your facility. There is no place to park within a ways of the hotel. And it just, and another travel related thing is that people are going to be hesitant to fly. They may be hesitant to take the train, and not everybody drives, you know, so there are a lot of other factors here that I think need to be addressed in some way, shape, or form. Thanks.
Would you be able to prepare to answer?
Yes, I engaged Creighton Manning to provide to do a traffic and parking study. And they're actually going to be presenting tonight at the city planning meeting. And I'm not a parking engineer. I have the study, which I provided to Mike Tucker. Mike, feel free to forward that along if you'd like.
I think the understanding we had was that it would be inappropriate for the IDA to consider that report until after the planning board had an opportunity to discuss it. So I think after tonight's meeting, we can share that report with the agency.
In essence, we have a plan for parking. We're certainly not going to build a building and not have a plan for parking. There's adequate parking to meet our demand, and we've confirmed this through a third-party parking consultant.
Okay, I'll
And
look
certainly-
forward to that after the planning board meeting tonight.
Do any other board members that have any questions? Mike?
Madam Chair, I think this was a very good discussion. I think it clearly raised some of the questions that the board has, and in the context of trying to conduct business remotely and electronically, it wasn't a bad meeting. So I would like to propose that that the agency consider meeting 2 weeks from today, so that at that point you could have a report as to what the status of the project is with the planning board. It would give the developer an opportunity to provide some additional information and detail on relating to some of the economic questions that have been presented. And hopefully at that point, we would be in a position to have Contra Associates present their evaluation report. So if that is acceptable to the chair and to the members of the board, Lisa would arrange to schedule that meeting to continue our discussion about this project.
Board members?
Sounds good.
I believe that means
Yeah, that
that
works for me.
let's move forward
It's
with that.
okay with
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you. I think
Thank
the one
you.
thing that, the encouraging thing is that they're still interested in talking with us after Corona. I wasn't sure that we would be able to find anyone willing to develop new projects here for our recovery. So I appreciate the chance to be able to continue this dialogue with the board in 2 weeks.
I appreciate that, and thank you all for your time, and we look forward to continuing the dialogue. We want to make this investment, and we're asking you for your help, and it's going to be beneficial for both the city and the county. Thank you very, very much.
I would like to encourage, I would also like to encourage the board that during this time and for the next 2 weeks, that if you have any questions, anything that we're learning due to the COVID virus that may pertain to this project in any way, please bring these questions forward. And if there's nothing else, I would like a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make that motion. It's Kamal.
I'll second it, John Cody.
May I have a second?
John
All in
Cody,
favor?
second. Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
I'm sorry, before we close out, I understand now that we have public meeting. Are we taking any public comment? No, well then I hear that first motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Anyone
everyone.
Opposed? Thank you. Meeting is
Thank
now
you, everyone.
adjourned at 39.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you.
All right.